it seems like it's a pretty common agreement that people would like to be less stressed. Yeah. And something that's interesting is people come to the nervous system work or to do the SSP, and I think mostly what they want is to have life feel easier, right? Less stress, less anxiety, less depression, maybe less reactivity, less just dissatisfaction and confusion, maybe easier relationships, all sorts of reasons. But sort of the like common denominator is that life would be less stressful. And what's tricky is we can learn all the nervous system exercises, but if we're still doing and saying things that don't line up for us, that like go against who we honestly are, then we'll continue to have stress, right? You can do the whole SSP and you can learn how the nervous system works and you can learn how to support the nervous system. But if you're still actively, like I just connected with a friend who is in recovery from cancer, in remission, and going back to a job that they hate. Um, and when we continue doing things that we hate, or we continue being in relationships where we're having predominantly to lie or manipulate who we are, or try to manipulate the other person in order to feel safe, um, it doesn't matter how much nervous system work you've done, you're going to continue to feel stressed. What happens as people move through the nervous system work is they start to have to confront, the many, many ways that they've been disagreeing with themselves through their behavior and their thoughts. And then you're confronted with some tricky stuff, right? You may have to make changes to your work life, to your relationships, to your relationship with some behaviors, like I don't know, how you eat or how you don't eat, how you sleep or don't sleep, how you, um, spend your time having to get your house perfectly clean. Um, as you spend more time with the nervous system and listening to it, it's going to tell you, like, hey, actually, I might not feel like it feels good to be forced to clean the baseboards, for example. That came up the other day with someone, and I was like, it's so funny because I realized I don't have the personal value of having clean baseboards. I thought that clean baseboards were like important from the way I was brought up. Um, it was like a health issue or something. Um, and it turns out, just this whole nother topic, but cleanliness and like um, having things be sanitized, um, has its roots in racism, um, and white supremacy. So go look that up if you're curious. But all of that to say, as we do the nervous system work and we spend more time supporting our nervous system will be like, hey, by the way, I need more sleep. By the way, I need more food. By the way, I might need less exercise. And then when we start doing those things and our bodies change or our circumstances change, hey, I don't want to work so hard at school. I don't want to work so hard at work. And then your performance goes down. And then we realize that we're up against a question mark. Do you want peace, or do you want to check all the boxes of what society has asked of you? And it's tricky to do both. It's tricky to, um, be an intuitive eater and still have a certain body size that you only got by restricting. It's tricky to have be like gentle with your cleaning routine and still have a perfectly clean house, right? It's tricky to get as much sleep as you need and also get the same amount done when you weren't sleeping very often. It's tricky to be honest with relationships and not have conflict. Um, It's tricky to question your family of origin and what they offered you and not have, relationship conflict or rupture. So that question, like, are you wanting more peace? And if so, are you willing to let go of some of your societal success or approval? Yeah. Most people want both. And interestingly, I do see through my own life that I have more like material and social uh, abundance, maybe, than I did when I was less honest. But there are certain aspects of that I have lost. So it's an interesting thing to contemplate. You want less stress, you want more peace, but it's sort of like if you want a cake that's just exactly the same one, but you want it without eggs. There's no egg substitute that's exactly going to do what eggs do, right? So if you don't want the eggs, then you might not have as good of a cake. You're changing a key component when you're becoming more responsive to your nervous system. And so it's inevitable that some of your outcomes are going to be different as well. And if that piece is really, something that feels like the priority for you, then it'll feel worth it. But for some folks, that they're sort of surprised by that that's going to be a part of it. And it's very tricky to be able to convey, you know, if you want to go from being a caterpillar to a butterfly, like you're not going to be a caterpillar anymore. So you're going to have to let go of your caterpillar stuff in order to get your butterfly stuff. And if you want to be a butterfly, then it's worth it. But if you want to be a butterfly and a caterpillar, I don't know how to do that.